sashimi. 3, 2, 1.
Alright guys, tune in again. This time we've got a review. Before we start, I was given this code by Clear River Games for purpose of review a few weeks ago, and I've been playing this game ever since. So, WiZmans World Retry is a remake of a 2010 DS game. There was a Japanese exclusive, so it was never translated and released out of Japan. I have played the DS game, and it's a very nice looking DS game. I probably would have been all over that back in the day if it had come out in the West. But as you can see, I've played this game for about 30 hours. I haven't quite finished it yet. I think I've got about an hour or two to go, and that's it. But I thought I'd get this review done. See, this game is available on PlayStation 4, PS5, Switch and PC. I'm not sure about the Xbox. On Steam it is $21.99. On consoles I think it's just over that, and you can get a physical edition of this for $29.99. See, this is a full-on adventure game. It's a remake. The original game was made by Landcrass, who also did a Shin Megami Tensei game and Persona Q2. That will come apart with some of the mechanics in this game later on. And it was released by Jellicoe back in the day, which I never knew Jellicoe actually released adventure games, but interesting. But this game has been updated into HD, made into widescreen by City Connection and Landcrass, and released. So let's get into my save. So RPGs are a little bit awkward to review because you don't want to give too much away of the story and the mechanics, because obviously RPGs are like a sort of a journey you go through and you work out a story and you enjoy the combat. But there's my main character. But I'll give you a rough overview. So basically this is Wizarest. This is a city that's trapped, surrounded by dungeons. The world is full of magic. They train mages in this place, and each of the mages then, for about 1,000 years, have been going off into these dungeons to try and find a way to escape, and they literally just trapped you. So the game starts off with a wizard called Giselle, who goes into the dungeons. And she comes back with a boy, Klaus, which is the character I've got there. And she goes to the Archmage and says, I've pretty much found this boy in the dungeons, and I'm going to raise him as my own and teach him magic. So 16 years passed. I think it was 16. And he's grown up, and Giselle has gone into the dungeons. She's disappeared. And that's pretty much how this game starts off. And you could basically trying to go into the dungeon to find her. She does leave you with they look like fairies. Basically they call homunculuses, and basically they're creatures made of magic, and I'll show you what they are. Basically, they look like fairies. They're on the right-hand side, so that's Anne, Doe, and Tori. Each one of these fairies, then, when you kill enemies in this game, sometimes they drop the souls of the enemies, and what you can do, you can amalgamate the homunculuses, or the fairies, with the souls of enemies, and they'll take on their form, and they'll take on their stats and magic. Very much like Persona, where you sacrifice the enemies, and then you get their soul, and you mix them together. It's very similar based how this works. I'll get into that a little bit later and show you how that works. And the world is the magic in the world is it's got 4 elements. You've got fire, water, air, and earth. Each one of the characters, like Klaus, eventually will be able to use all elements of magic. But then what you can do with the homunculuses, or the fairies, you can merge them with enemies to get their elements. So it's a bit of sort of, as you work through the game, you end up sort of setting an element for a fairy, but then you can, when you swap into another element, you can take 2 bits of magic with you, so then you can build up a character that's got lots of different types of magic. So I'll show you a quick round the town. The town is pretty small. There's a cat you can say hello to. There's a couple of characters, not many to be honest. There's a few characters. Up by here, there's a bar you can go into, and you can get side quests. Like if you look at the side quests, I've got a few. There's not many side quests. There's only one I haven't done, which I'll get that done. Pretty simple, this town, to be honest. If you go up here, this is like the main square. There's a shop here that sells you items. He does look like a blacksmith that upgrades, but he doesn't. He makes items. You talk to this lady here, and she will sell you weapons, she will sell you armor and accessories. These accessories could be used for you and your fairies. Money in this game as well is crystals. You collect crystals in the dungeons, you can raid chests to get it, you kill enemies to get it, and you can get items and you can sell them to get crystals. As you power up in this game as well, basically she'll end up having more and more stuff in the shop. So as you go through this game, she'll get new stock in, and that's how you get all these different weapons you pick up. And then you obviously need money to buy them. And then you can sell stuff as well. So you can sell your old weapons, you can sell stuff you pick up in dungeons to get more crystals to buy things. You can get potions in this game as well. This is the potion shop. He's never particularly very happy when you go in here. And he sells a very small amount of potions. These are healing, getting rid of statuses, basically bringing you back from death. But I quite like the way they've done it in this. Is when you're actually in battle, the only time you'll ever use your potions is when you're actually in a battle. So if you lose energy, you get a status on you, or you die, and you win the battle with another character. When you go out of the battle, you just come back alive and get full energy again. So I think that's really good. It saves keeping buying potions all the time, and it makes the game run a little bit faster and smoother, I think. So potions are only ever used in battle, and there's a few people you can talk to. There's a little graveyard thing over here, and the Archmage is up here. I don't want to show you up there actually, because there's something you'll find later on in the game, so I'm not going to go up there. So as you can see in this, the graphics have done very nice. They've been upscaled from the original DS. I think they've obviously been tidied up, especially the backgrounds have been tidied up and made in HD and widescreen. I like the idea that they've done the character and they've just upscaled the character. It does hark back to the original DS origins of this game. So music is also very nice in this game. It's got some lovely music actually, and it's got some lovely graphics. So we're gonna go out to the town. Initially there is 5 dungeons surrounding the town, as you can see, but initially you only get 1, and as you work your way through the dungeons you discover stuff, you kill bosses and things. Other dungeons open up as you go through the game. So I'm literally just going to show you a little bit of both these 2 dungeons and nothing else, because I want you guys to play this game yourself. As you can see, when you enter a dungeon, it gives you entrance, arcane anomaly 1 and 2. The arcane anomaly are like a magic post you find through certain sections through the dungeon, but you have to find a crystal, and then that activates this post, and it allows you to travel back to them. So you can basically go out of the dungeon, come back, and end up in different sections. So you will need to explore these dungeons to find everything you need to do them. So within the dungeon, you can see the graphics are very nice. It's quite a pretty game. It's got some really cool enemies as well. So they are the enemies. They can run close to them and they will chase you, as you can see. So you can actually just run past them. You can actually get past them if you want, so that they'll give up on attacking you after a while. You can run into an enemy and you'll fight like a set of monsters, but you can also, this becomes a bit of a tactic, you can also draw an enemy to another enemy. I'll try and do this though. If I can get him to follow me down here, I'll run into there, and what happens then the two sets of enemies will now attack me, one after another. This could be a handy tactic for getting extra experience points and extra souls and stuff, but later on in the game it can also be to your detriment, so you've got to be quite careful about that. So the battle system in this is pretty simple, but it's quite clever in how it works. If you look at the top, so you've got your characters down the right hand side. If you look at the top in the diamonds, you'll see from the left hand side onwards, you'll see 4 characters. They are my characters, so they are my attacks. So each one of those diamonds is an attack by a character, and then once I've done my attacks, you see the 2 enemy characters, so that's when they phase attacks, and then it goes back to me. What's clever about this is if you get consecutive attacks, so you do 4 and they just stand it, as soon as you hit your 5th consecutive attack, your attacks get a +2 bonus on them, so attack and agility get a +2, so you take more energy on magic and everything. And then if you get like a 6 in a row, or 5 or 7 in a row, 8 in a row, I think the most I've ever had is 9, you get really powerful then, and most things are just, you're going to destroy them. So the battle system is quite simple and clever. You can attack, but what you may notice, that character said resist. You can hold down an info button and it tells you what element those characters are and what element you are. And with the little thing at the bottom, you can see that they're the wind element, so that's the green one at the bottom. So they can be affected by fire or earth elements. But you'll get used to this as you're playing it and what you can actually attack. So you've got skills, which are basically magic. You can use element attacks, which are these, which is for where I sort of set this character up for, or you can use standard magic attacks depending on what they are. They can be anything from healing to, I know, shields. It could be anything from buffing to characters. It could be anything from taking buffs away from enemies. You can guard, so I'll just do that for the hell of it. You can also use items. These are the items you only use in battle. So like that's health recovery. So that's a healing pill, which is another one, restores all of my party. Healing charms, and then you've got basically anti-status stuff, and you can change pages depending on how many you've got. And escape. Escape works most of the time, especially on the lower dungeons, but the higher you get into the game, it's a little bit more difficult to escape. But you can use a smoke bomb. You can buy these in the shop eventually. When you get these, it'll allow you to escape from any battle. So I'm gonna just do I'll just do a standard attack. At the moment, I'm well powered up, so these characters are not gonna last very long. So I'm on to my next character now. So the enemy will attack after 2 attacks of mine. So I'm just going to attack him. So that's 2 consecutive attacks, and now it goes to my second set of enemies. So the most I've had, I think, is 3 or 4 consecutive ones, and then later on, obviously, it's harder to kill things. So if you look at your skill, these are goblins, so they're affected by earth. So if I go to my skills and I do shockwave, they're weak to air attacks, and then I can do my magic, and this is basically going to destroy them. And then you win the battle. As you can see there, I picked up goblin souls, so you'll use them for splicing with your fairies to get powered up and different magic. And the items you use also for the merging between them. So that's the battling in this game. So the battling is pretty simple, but it's complicated enough to be fun, if you know what I mean. The dungeons themselves, when you first get to these dungeons, the reason they trap people in here is they find their way through the dungeons and the dungeons change. They're not procedurally generated. These dungeons are obviously designed by a person, but the first time you'll get to them, you'll get so far through the dungeon, and then the dungeon will just still be sort of an event, and the dungeon will just reconfigure itself, and then you'll have to start again from scratch, and it'll be completely different. Same with the music. It'll start off, some dungeons will have 3 different soundtracks, depending on how it reconfigures itself, and then eventually, after it's done there a couple of times, it'll stay as is. So that's how these characters get trapped. So the idea in this game is you really want to be searching everywhere, and you really want to be attacking all enemies. So at the moment, these enemies just got no chance against me. Klaus, the main character, is not the most powerful character, but he's good as a magic user and a backup character. So here's the map of the dungeon. It's a pretty simple map. The square I'm on, it's got 2 exits, so you'll have to find those exits. So you really want to be exploring everywhere on here to get all the items. Plus those, like pole things with a circle around them, are the magic posts you need the crystal on, and then you can walk back to those sections in the actual dungeon. So you basically work your way through your dungeon. You can just run past these if you couldn't get past them. Another thing about attacking enemies as well, if they attack you from behind, they get a start-off hit on you, and if you attack them from behind, you'll get like a preemptive hit on them as well. So there is a bit of tactics of how you run into enemies. There's not blindly running away from them or running into them. So that's how the magic and the attacking and stuff works in this. I gotta admit, I really enjoy the battle system in this. I think it's really good fun. He's not happy. And then sometimes you'll get to a place where there's nowhere to get past. There's some sections in these dungeons where you'll see something to get to and you can't quite get to it, and you'll later on when it reconfigures and stuff like that, you'll find your way around. So I'm gonna go back out. At any time you can escape back to his house. So in the house, this will show you the monster index. So it'll basically tell you about each monster you've come across. Your bed then will basically, you go to sleep at night and you get all your stats back. And the cauldron here is where you merge your fairies and the monsters together. So I'll give you an idea how this works. So if I use her, for instance, so I'll use Tori. She is a fire element character at the moment, and underneath the skill list, you'll see the skills she's got. So if I click the button, this will give you the entire list of enemies and enemy souls you've got, and all the different types and skills. You can sort them by element as well. So if I sort it by fire, and you go down for the list, you try and find something that gives you, like for that for instance, so he will give me pretty good specs. I lose a little bit but not much. So if I click the merge, then once you start merging the items you pick up in dungeons, then eventually you have the ability to add an item. So what you can do with these items, these will bump your stats even more. So if you use that one, plus it'll give you little extras and stuff, so you can do that. And then you can use all these as extra buffs. Eventually you'll get two sets of items you can use. Then once you've done that, you confirm it, and then it will basically merge the two together. You don't have to watch this. It would be incredibly annoying if you couldn't skip it, but lucky enough you can skip this animation. So I'll skip it, and now my character has taken on a different form, and she's taken on some of the attributes of that form. Plus then, once you've changed, you can take two magics along with you. So what you'll end up doing, you'll end up merging characters in between elements, and then when you merge the fire, you want to take your other elements with you. So I'll take the earth element attack and the wind element attack. So you'll end up with a character that has various element attacks. So you can build your characters that way. Like, it can get quite complicated, really. Maybe I haven't done it the best way, I don't know. But eventually you'll start speccing characters. It's a good idea to have a character that's good at various attacks and good at various element magic as well, because your normal attacks are also element. So if say for a character is water and you're a water character, if you do a normal attack on that character, it won't take much energy off them. But say you're a fire character, you could take lots of damage off them. So it's like speccing your team up essentially. So as you may have noticed, if you've played any of the Persona games, it's a very similar system to Persona, which sort of comes back to where Landcraft made Persona Q and Shin Megami Tensei. So then you come back and forth this town, talk to people, you go and see the Archmage, which I'm not going to show you because there's something in that square that it's part to do with the story later on, so I'm not actually going to show you. With the story with this game as well, it's same as most RPGs. There is a twist, which I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to play this game to find that out yourself. So I'll show you the second dungeon you get to, but we'll start inside further in. So these are the magic posts you get the crystals for, and if you notice, I'm literally almost halfway through the dungeon now. So in here you get a lot more, you get different enemies. All enemies on the overall map look the same. There's only like about 5 or 6 different types on the map, but the enemies look different when you go into them. So if I look at these, they're water slimes. So if I use a fire attack, maybe not fire, maybe stone. Yeah, a stone attack they're weak to. Now this should be an interesting one. They're all different types though. So you've got wind and water. So using, say, an opposite to wind attacks. Like if I use fire now, only 2 of them are weak to fire, but the other 2 are not, but it'll still damage them quite a bit. So you have to work out your magics and your attacking. And each dungeon will have like a different sort of mechanic. This will be quite interesting. You've got 3 of them though. Might show you the consecutive attacks actually. Let me do a normal attacks. I'll show you what I mean by say they don't stand a chance against me at the moment. So now we're moving into another one. Those goblins are a nightmare earlier on in the game. Right, so this is my 5th attack now. So you see my damage is gone up. On my 6th attack, I'll get an even bigger buff now. So chain 6. Chain 7. Now I'm doing loads of damage. Actually, I'm going to go to the biggest chain I've had here, I think. Huge buffs. I say Klaus, who's attacking then, doesn't do high attacks. 11 chain, that's quite impressive. So you get more and more powerful as you go through the chains. Like some of these levels, depending on that, will have some of ice where you slide across. Because he's attacked me from behind now, look. So he's got a preemptive attack on me or an ambush. They will all use element attacks against you as well as using normal attacks. I'm just going to destroy him. The joys of being powered up. Yeah, and the fire level is lava you can't walk across and things like that. So guys, I don't want to show you too much of this game. So I'm going to go back to the main town. Because adventure games, you need to work this out yourself. So we're back in the So what do I actually think of this game? I think the graphics are really nice on here. They've done a really nice job of cleaning up, upscaling the graphics and cleaning them up, especially as you can see with the backgrounds in there. And being in widescreen is really nice. Even if you look back on the DS game, I had to go over it on my DS, and it's a very pretty DS game, especially for when it came out. I did like a DS a lot, I gotta admit. Yeah, music in this game. The music's really nice in this game. You get from chill out tracks like this. Some of the dungeons got a couple of different types of music from, to sort of like once you get to the bosses, and sometimes the dungeons will have like sub bosses, more than one. Sometimes you get to them, you hit into like a more upbeat sort of rock type track on you, and it's got nice music on the intro as well. So I think the music is really nice. The way this plays, it plays totally fine. Your hitbox, I think, is really small. Sometimes you will walk past an enemy without actually hitting them, but that also adds in your advantage when you're trying to run away from enemies in a dungeon as well. And once you come out of a battle, you're invincible for a couple of seconds, so you can't just be hit and directly go straight back in, so you can run away. So the actual attack in itself, like I said, I think it's complicated enough to be interesting and not to be annoying, and you will mix and match stuff and upgrade your characters and stuff. So gameplay-wise, I think it plays really good. So yeah, have I enjoyed it? I have enjoyed this game, actually. I think the story is not the deepest story in the world, but this game is more about adventuring in the dungeons and doing the battling system more than the story, I would say. But like I said, the story is, I enjoyed the story, but it's not the deepest story in the world, but still good. So have I enjoyed this over the 30 hours I've played it? Well, I played it for 30 hours, so yeah, I have. I've actually really enjoyed this game. It's quite a fun RPG with a good battle system. It does have a lot of battles, so be prepared with that if you do get it. But yeah, it's a really nice game. I am literally going to play this probably after this review and finish it off. It does tell you when you're saving. If I go to save, it does tell you, at least it tells you somewhere. It might be where I loaded in. It tells you a percentage of how far you are through the game, and I think I'm about like 90 odd % through the game. So I'm literally right at the end. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed this game, and to be honest, I definitely recommend it. If you like this type of RPG, it's well worth picking up, and it's not expensive either. At £21 on Steam, and roughly about the same on the other consoles. I think it may be like $23.99 or something like that. It's not a bad price either for you getting, especially since the fact you're going to play it for over 30 hours, which I've done. So you're going to get a lot for your money, and this game's definitely recommended. I really enjoyed it. So thanks to Clear River Games for giving me the code for this. When they asked me did I want the code for it, I looked at it and I was just like, oh yeah, that actually looks good. So that's why I accepted the code, but lucky enough it is really good. So hopefully you enjoyed the review, guys, and this is WiZmans World Retry, and definitely recommend the game. So I'll catch you soon. So take it easy.